What's an adult problem nobody prepared you for? Having a hard time making friends or finding opportunities to meet new people. What's even more odd to me is when I was asked to go do something, I'd say no. Probably a combination of tiredness and thinking they are just trying to be nice, but still say yes. No one told me that even if I have an adult body, I would still feel lost and not sure what to do with my life. I'm sure most of us are just trying to figure it out along the way. Having to decide what to cook and therefore what food to buy instead of the fridge being full of food. How meaningless a lot of work is. Yes, day in and day out. I'm kind of jealous of people who build things. They can point and say I did that. It will be there for years. Their kids can point and say my dad built that. I do it infrastructure, and while I can't point to things and show people, it still feels nice to come in every day and look after things that I've built and have ownership of. In the grand scheme, is it meaningless? Of course, but I think it's important for everyone to try and find that ownership of something they can have at work. If the scheme is grand enough, everything is meaningless. Something I keep saying at every opportunity. Relative constructs aren't a super usable metric of meaning. Your experience doesn't need to be eternal, unique, extraordinary, or inspiring etc. to be valuable or meaningful. The sole existence of experience is the value of itself. Well, that was profound. How many things there are to remember to check on every year, month, day, insurance premiums, doctor's visits, appointments, trash days, kids' schedules. It never stops. This 100x. Additionally, there's this nagging feeling that you're always forgetting something important too. Really erodes your ability to rest and relax. I'll also add the amount of chores you have to do within a household. It's constant and never ending. Oh, you cleared the sink. Well, it's the next day, and it's full again. Picked up after the kids. Oh, they're up from their nap and the house is upside down again. And so it goes. Sometimes, I wonder how other adults make time to do anything that isn't a chore. Like, am I doing something wrong? I used to wonder why adults were so grumpy when I was a kid. Now I get it. It's a constant grind. And then you die. I remember being a little kid and my dad telling me, or teaching me, I guess, that 9 out of 10 things you do because you have to and the remaining 1 because you want to. I still find that a wildly depressing statement. This is gonna sound silly to some, but cooking for myself, living for so long in a house with meals always made, and then boom, you move out and now it's you who has to make the meals and figure out what stuff you need to buy. My folks didn't teach me jack fuck all about cooking or laundry or stuff. Sure, I ran the vacuum and cleaned the bathrooms for allowance money as a kid, but how long does chicken take to cook? How do you cook rice? How not to put liquid dish soap in the dishwasher? What do different laundry cycles do? I had to learn everything the hard, messy and expensive way. I've lived on my own for 4 years now, and I'm still trying to learn all these things. Throw in feeling stressed out, full-time work, and some slight depression and it's amazing I've made it this far, haha. Laundry hack, just wash everything in cold water. Delicate/gentle cycle, everything, except dry clean only. Take that S to the cleaners. My parents and siblings growing up and apart. Parents separating and siblings not getting along with each other, significant others. Family drama you didn't have to deal with while growing up. Didn't have to deal with is the key here. Now that I'm older and my grandparents have passed away, I've heard about all the family drama us kids, siblings, cousins, were shielded from. Do you wish you never knew? I'm in the middle of a nasty divorce and my ex continues to try and involve our teenagers in the details. I'm adamantly against sharing things, and so oftentimes I look like in a hole because I won't explain what their father really is doing. I wonder if it's right to tell them once they are adults, so they have a better understanding. Their father is an abusive man, and for now I'm letting them see it for themselves. I definitely wish I never knew the things that went on between my parents before I was old enough to understand and see for myself. They divorced when I was about 3 and my mom would always go out of her way to explain how terrible a person my dad was and all his bad habits. The truth was though he had drastically changed for the better over the years after they had split up, and she had no idea who he was as a person anymore, but I wasn't ever able to realize it being a child. I never looked at my dad in a bad way. He was very good to me, but there was always a feeling I had that he was a bad guy, and it majorly affected my relationship with him. He passed away in 2017, and there's so much I missed out on with him because of the perception of him my mom painted for me. The past is the past, and it doesn't need to be brought up to anyone, especially to someone's kids. Just because someone is a curse to one person doesn't mean they can't be a blessing to another. No one telling you what to do next. You spend the first 18 to 21 years of your life constantly being told what to do, the next step to take, the next meal to eat, etc. Then, nothing. You're just expected to figure it all out on your own. I remember the day after I graduated high school. It was a horrible sinking feeling that, even though I hated being there, it was consistent, and I had nothing else. We all joke about the high school football stars reminiscing about the best days of their lives, but honestly, when you're staring down the barrel of a void, I don't blame anyone who wants to fill it with something they once had. It's been a long couple years for me battling cancer. I sometimes catching myself talking about stuff and how good I was at something, etc. Then realizing I'm talking about a form of myself that hasn't existed for 10 to 12 years now. But there I'm still talking like I'm hot as lol. I hope you're doing better, though not quite of an extreme. I feel you on the physiological and mental change. This past year I ran into some kidney complications which were compounded on by an inept primary care doctor. I'm currently going through probably the single largest lifestyle shift I've had, and I keep trying to figure out who I'm now. No one really warns you that physical issues come tied with psychological ones. How dry the social circles would be. I'm not one to go to the bar, and I generally work from home, though I'm thinking of transitioning to a in-office position to try and alleviate this a bit. So all I've got to interact with are old friends from high school and college who I've got the Discord of. There's been an ongoing issue where a bonfire one of those friends has been planning on hosting keeps being pushed back by how much it's been raining around here lately. There was a really good opportunity a couple weeks ago, but no one really saw the notification before the rain issue cropped up. So now we are all basically just waiting for next month, when people are more available on the weekends. How dry the social circles would be. It's tough. For my first job after school I had to move to a completely new city in a state I'd never been to before. Finding friends was really hard. At the time I was used to having a very active social life, so I really noticed the lack of it. I tried to hang out with people my age at work, but I couldn't stand some of them, so that didn't work out. I tried to get involved with clubs and organizations in town and that didn't work out either. I had enough strikes with the organizations that I eventually gave up. I'm not interested in church, so that wasn't an option. Family was 500 plus miles away. Outside of being married / in a long-term relationship and gaining a social network that way, I don't know how more introverted people pull it off. I'm not the type to venture out of my shell easily. I just felt totally unequipped to adapting to a situation in which I didn't have built-in friends like you do at school. Feeling lonely. Having no energy to do it after work. Oh, I feel this in my soul. How to move up the ranks at work. I always thought it would be simply noticed how good I did and that I'd be recognized for it. Wrong. Do not make this mistake. You are responsible for noticing what you do really well and being credited for it. In a matter of a year and a half I was able to increase my income by 50%, simply because I took on more responsibilities, documented how well I did them, and presented it to my boss. Yes, you cannot be modest. Employers will look for excuses not to pay you more. Facts. Back pain. In general, all the injuries, even minor simple ones, you've ever suffered creep back up on your when you turn 30. Having to spend the rest of your life trying to make a career work and increase responsibilities while your body naturally reduces energy. What do you think the best method is to do this? What's some ways that definitely don't work? Something that will help a lot is to just be healthy and active. Go to the gym. Do yoga or hiking or rock climbing. Eat responsibly. Don't become an alcoholic. Seems obvious, yet most people end up as alcoholics anyways. These things will lead to a much happier and more energy-filled life. Before working out, becoming active, and eating healthy, I was always tired. Now I'm pretty much up and active 16 hours a day. I'm fortunate enough to have a mom who is extremely hardworking and ended up being both parent roles most of my life. She has taught me to be a hard worker like her, and working out is something that I do regularly. Not posting about it on social seems difficult for people my age though. 21. What do you do for work? Friends disappear. Truth, my G. People will constantly flake on you or not keep their word. My parents were very strict about keeping your word/promises. As an adult, I've realized the majority of people don't say what they mean or stick to their words. This is something I find disappointing. What the hell to do after a car crash? Make apps with your insurance agent. Tell them you want to dry run an auto accident in their office. Get schooled by someone that deals with accidents every day. They should be able to tell you how to act at the scene, who to call, what to expect the insurance co-adjuster will do, how the claim will develop, and how to handle a claim that may be a total loss. If you don't have a local agent, you should get one. An ever-increasing scope of responsibilities at work, combined with a fixed compensation. Could you expand on that? As an adult, you are never told that you are expected to put more and more effort at work without your compensation matching the pace of your labor. In other words, at school effort has a cap, but not at the workplace. That was surprising for me. Sounds like being taken advantage of. I can see more responsibilities temporarily, but if it's extended, then you should be renegotiating compensation and your title. The job description would also need to be updated. Otherwise, it's time to swap jobs. At worst, it's a lateral move, but without the extra responsibility, it is being taken advantage of. I find surprising that in the eyes of colleagues and supervisors, this is normal. Not expecting compensation to match the increase of responsibilities is crazy, in my head at least. Watching your parents slowly get older, both physically and mentally exhausting. This hits home for me. I never realized that everyone is pretty much just winging it. Nobody really has it all figured out. Like, pretty much everyone has an imposter syndrome in some form or fashion. It shocked the hell out of me when I read the story below by author Neil Gaiman. Like, shit, every person is an imposter in some way. Some years ago, I was lucky enough invited to a gathering of great and good people, artists and scientists, writers and discoverers of things, and I felt that at any moment they would realize that I didn't qualify to be there. Among these people who had really done things, on my second or third night there, I was standing at the back of the hall while a musical entertainment happened, and I started talking to a very nice, polite, elderly gentleman about several things, including our shared first name, and then he pointed to the hall of people and said words to the effect of, "I just look at all these people, and I think, what the heck am I doing here? They've made amazing things. I just went where I was sent." And I said, "Yes, but you were the first man on the moon. I think that counts for something." And I felt a bit better, because if Neil Armstrong felt like an imposter, maybe everyone did. Maybe there weren't any grown-ups, only people who had worked hard and also got lucky and was likely out of their depth. All of us doing the best job we could, which is all we can really hope for. We're all just winging it. Office politics. You're taught to develop these important skill sets and go to college, go to grad school, etc., etc. But if you can't play the game, your experience and training doesn't matter. What's the F point of all this shit? Still trying to figure it out. If anyone has an answer. Children. Everybody was so eager and wanting us to have kids. Now that we got M, nobody wants to see M, right? Before kids. When are you guys going to have kids? You should have kids. They'd be so adorable! Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. 1 exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. Kid is born. Oh, look. They are so cute. Can I hold them? Year 2, you and your crotch goblins need to get out of here now, and don't come back. Also, we will never be going to visit you again. I'm feeling really strongly that this will happen to me and my partner with both our families. Except my mom maybe. A hair. Pro tip, but use at your own risk. Swipe nair in there. Wait 5 minutes. Paper towel that s off. Jump in shower. 2, 3 months a hair free. Edit. It makes your farts slap harder for a little bit. For extra safety, buy a pair of thongs to put a barrier in front of your booty hole. Maybe that will help. Fanghorn Forest. What madness drove them in there? Wheezing. You have to buy the bloody milk all the time. No one else buys the milk, yet every fucker drinks the milk. No one cares about the level of milk in the fridge. They just splurge on milky drinks, like they're in Valhalla or something. Yet when I want a well-earned cup of friggin' tea, how I feel you on this one. Paychecks come every 2 weeks. Bills come every day. Really? My bills come monthly. My bills are all over the place. Mortgages every other Wednesday. Internet is first of the month. Sellers every 3 months. Property tax is the end of every other month. Hydro is end of the month. Gas is middle of the month. Boredom. As a kid I dreamt of being an adult, so I could finally do whatever I wanted to whenever I wanted to, but after I got a job, a wife and a kid I spend most of my days getting bored on the couch. Others have said it, but getting regular exercise, even as little as a long walk or a run at an embarrassingly easy pace, can give you a lot of energy and drive to go out and find new things to do instead of just being a couch potato. Sometimes I'll just go for a 1-mile run at an easy pace that doesn't leave me gasping for air, and I feel so much more energetic and alive for the rest of the day. I go to the gym 5 times a week. There's only so much exercise you can do in a day. Eventually you'll get home to realize your life is just not going anywhere. Constantly feeling dread, anxiety, and helplessness. Anytime anything goes wrong, no matter how small, it's still a kick backwards as I'm constantly trying to go forward. There's no safety net. If I fall it can always get worse. That some of your friends will start dying in middle age. The overdoses and motorcycle accidents we knew would happen. But FOs? Come on. Brain cancer? WTF? Suicide? Oh man. It just becomes downright unbearable at points to see your friends and loved ones suffering. Yeah. Probably going to be one of them if things don't get better. I'm still young, so there are many opportunities I'm looking forward to, but it's been years since it started feeling meaningless. That adults are so grossly undereducated in America makes you wonder why on earth we are dumping tax dollars into an education system that is failing so many.